Security. I mean, I don't recall any time that Ghanaians were refugees in Cote d'Ivoire because of some escalating tensions in the north. This happened. It happened last year. I'm just hoping that government this year will have a foothold, strong foothold on our security situation this particular year. LGBTQ. Ankwesi touched on it briefly. If you recall, this was a major campaign issue. Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo was faulted for not signing the bill into law, and we were told before the election that His Excellency was going to do the do and sign the bill into law. Subsequently, we were told that once Parliament, the life of that Parliament has ended, the bill has to come, start all over again. Some private members pushed through the bill. It appeared on the order paper. The majority leader informed us that there was an administrative error. Till date, that administrative error has not been corrected. It has not found its way back onto the paper. Interestingly, all the Christian community, the Muslim community, and you are here, my brother, who trooped to Parliament and who were sitting in the public gallery, suddenly have left the public gallery. The media, who was yourself, and I recall, you're one of the vociferous voices on this particular issue of LGBTQ. Suddenly, you are mute. Oh. Yes, you are not talking about it. The bill now has not found its way onto...
We will talk about it.
Oh, okay. When are you talking about it? We were told that it was going to be signed into law. Immediately enters Parliament. Here we are in the second year. It is not even a topical issue on radio. It's not a topical issue on Good Morning Ghana. And nobody's discussing
We'll bring it back.
You bring it back. But that was one of the key promises of the administration. And I'm just hoping that it comes back to the front burner, and hope that this year you are going to have that. Moro, you assure me that it's going to be taken care of. That's fine. Oral.
Right.
And I recall vividly our discussion on this platform.
The fight against corruption.
Yes, I was here with the Venerable Ankwesi when the newspapers reported boots. They use the word. I want to get the like corruption, like corrupt people. Okay. They told us that $21 billion has been lost, and that they are going to retrieve it. They're going to make sure that corruption is taken out. Blah 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 blah. Here we are. Today, if you listen to the Attorney General himself, he says, not all the 21 billion will be recovered. Not all the 21 billion will be recovered. I listened to Dom Levo. He said, what we gave them was garbage in, garbage out. It was what was received, what was presented. No auditing had been done. Take your time. You were here. I was here with you. You were the host. Yes. You were the host.
It's just some of it.
You were the host when we were told that these people were looters.
Okay.
And I cautioned that we should be careful with the language. But we needed power, so it was okay. Today, we don't know where the looters are. We don't know how much has been retrieved out of the 21 billion. We don't know who has been convicted. That was also one of the problems that I saw this year. Ankwesi also talked about the energy sector debt. And we saw a very interesting statement from the finance minister.
Won't you comment the government?
I'm coming to make my point. When the heading was, the Mahama government clears energy sector debts. And it was as if this was the first time energy sector debt was being paid. Same finance minister in his 2025 budget indicated that the same amount of 1.4 billion that he has paid was also paid in 2024. It's not novel, but I commend them for continuing the process of reducing the debts, especially when they brought in the One Ghana cedi. And Moro, I was here with you when the discussion ensued. They told us that by the end of the year, they were going to accumulate 5.4 billion based on the fiscal impact analysis report that the finance minister gave us. When he presented his 2026 budget, they had accumulated 8.6 billion. Converted to dollars, that's almost $800 million. If you have extra $800 million and you use 300, almost 400 million to pay IPPs, What has happened? It has to be a normal process. This year, he's anticipating to get a little over 11 billion Ghana cedis. Convert that to cedis. So yes, if you tax us more and you get more revenue and you use that to reduce our debt, thank God. I want to thank him for reducing our debt. Today, as we speak to you today, electricity has gone up by 28.14%.
You mean cumulatively?
Relatively, of course. The whole of last year, it was 18.34% electricity tariffs. They have also increased it by another 9.something%. So currently, the total tariffs from the time His Excellency took over till date is 28.14%. That's also happened in last year. So yes, some good things have happened. And I must commend them for that. And as I said, the optics look nice. And when you see the president interacting with the ordinary Ghanaians, it looks beautiful. But I also hope that they go back to their manifesto and execute all the promises that they talked about. The big push. When they came to Parliament and they presented the project list, Moro, go and check it well. Almost 40 to 50% of it are continuing projects. That's fantastic. It's good. I want to commend them for that. If you continue existing projects and then you intend to ensure that it is completed, we don't have any problem with that. It's a good program, but it's important that we also make it clear that yes, they are continuing existing projects, just like what they are doing at Pokuase. It's beautiful. The last time I passed by, I realized that the contractor has done some asphalting on one side of the road. That is good. That is good governance. That is continuation.
Right.
So yes, we'll commend them for the good things that have happened, but also remind them of some of the promises that they made to the Ghanaian people on Galamsey, on security, on LGBTQ, and all that. We hope that this year, all these issues come to the fore and become at the fore.
Now, speaking about...
No, I beg.
Okay.
Just before we draw the curtains on this topic, look, we have to make the point that there has been no significant paradigm shift since President Mahama took over.
Because I didn't hear that. There has not been any
significant paradigm shift since the Mahama administration took over. You understand? Indeed, the Mahama administration is implementing the same IMF program which the last government signed. I think that program expires at the end of this month or next month.
It's supposed to be April.
The government has requested for 3 months.
Yeah.
That takes us about
But that's the program which is being implemented. Okay. So, for example, if you look at the energy tariffs, it was in the agreement. The previous government committed Ghana to increasing electricity tariffs before he left office. Okay? So if there have been increases in electricity tariffs, you can't just simply blame it on this administration. You signed that agreement before you left office. That's a fact.
Right.
Okay, that's a fact.
I will explain that when it gets to my turn.
Because
no problem.
This one has come up several times.
Several times now.
No, I'm saying this issue about what you signed.
Yes.
In the IMF.
Yes. And the IMF is signed that we are going to increase electricity.
Don't say that.
There was a commitment to increase tariffs.
And you rebutted it several times. That's what
yes.
I'm saying. But I'm
no problem. We can deal with that. I mean, I have no problem at all with
In fact,
that.
there was a portion, we had to read that portion, but then it was subject to all kinds of interpretation.
They didn't say increase.
It actually meant increase.
Yes. They said that the quarterly adjustment must be continued. But that quarterly adjustment does not mean a quarterly upward adjustment.
That's
because on the basis of the economic factors, you could reduce it.
Right.
And indeed, if you look at the PURC report from the first and second quarters, because the fourth quarter there was no adjustment, they increased, and one of the reasons was that they had to make up for the loss. But in the third quarter, when the exchange rate had performed so well and inflation had dropped, we were expecting a reduction.
Well, how?
We were.
How?
Because when you read
I'm
looking at the period. No, I'm coming. When you look at the PURC,
I will allow you, but it's not your turn. But
okay. When you look at the PURC statement, they normally give reasons for the adjustment, the energy mix, but principally because of the exchange rates, inflation. So when they were dropping, it was our hope that it was going to lead to some drop. But it didn't. In fact, we We held them before our committee. And it was at that time that we got to know that some new element had been added. Fuel, it never used to be part. Reserve margin, it never used to be part. And I have the report here. So the IMF didn't say increase electricity. It said continue with the quarterly adjustment, which is something that the PRC has been doing, whether there's an IMF program or not. And there are years that the PRC increased tariffs when there was no IMF program. So all they said is that make sure that you continue with your adjustment to reflect the economic conditions. That was the point the IMF made.
Have you finished?
Yes, please, Ankwesi.
Okay. I hate to do this, but obviously, I think what you're doing is that you're engaged in verbal acrobatics. You exited office at the time when the energy sector was under the weight of a $3 billion debt. You understand? You exited office at a time when the PURC itself had determined that the previous increase in tariffs could not make the energy sector viable. It didn't meet the shortfall and so on. So how could you have expected that it would go down? How could anybody have expected that tariffs would go down?
Given the size of the debt.
Given the size of the debt, given the size of the general situation in the energy sector. Nobody, given all the parameters, nobody, could argue that cost would come down. Because what the PURC did at the time, I think, was just recover less than 20% of cost.
Yeah.
Less than 20% of cost. So it was obvious when we were signing that agreement that cost would rise.
Absolutely.
That tariffs would rise. That adjustment meant increase. It was so obvious. I don't know why we have to struggle over this. It's so obvious. If we just reduce everything to verbal gymnastics and so on, then we can continue. Okay. The reality is that when we signed the agreement with the IMF, the understanding was that tariffs will continue to be adjusted upwards in order to generate the necessary resources to pay for the cost of generating power. You understand? That was clear.
Right.
It was very clear. In any case, the energy mix you talk about has not changed. The energy mix that the Mahama administration inherited has not changed.
It's the same.
It's the same. The only significant change has been the exchange rate. That's the only significant, is the exchange rate. That's the most significant thing that has happened. But even the exchange rate, what are we really practically talking about? We are talking about, in essence, a movement from 14 point something cedis to $1 to 10 point something cedis to $1. Check the percentage rate.
From 14.7 now to 10.45.
Yes. So check the percentage rate. You understand?
It's almost 30%.
Yeah. So check the percentage rate. You understand? So I think this is how we should do our analysis.
Yeah.
I am worried. First of all, I'm happy that the president is indicating that this may be the last IMF deal.
Yeah.
That he intends to make this the last IMF deal. That is very refreshing. Because what we have done over a long period of time is that we go to elections, politicians come and make all kinds of promises to us, we give them power, and they refuse to listen to us, and they go to the IMF. So effectively, from 1983 up to today, the real government has been the IMF and the World Bank. What we elect are spokespersons and representatives of the two institutions. And I've been very worried about that situation. So the time has come when we have to take our destiny into our own hands. The time has come when we have to make policies and implement the policies and so on. There's another question which arises, which is simply this, that if the Mahama administration is implementing the same IMF deal which the Akufo-Addo government signed, then what accounts for these significant improvements that we are noting? Of course, the answer is clear.
Right.
There's a lot more discipline and prudence.
Yeah. Fiscal discipline.
Yeah, discipline and prudence in the management of national affairs.
Right.
And what that teaches us is that this economy is not a hopeless case. It can be managed, it can improve, and perhaps if we add a paradigm shift to the prudence and the discipline, we can achieve a lot.
All right.
First of all, I think it's also refreshing to hear the president talk about this being our last. But you see, history will tell us almost all the presidents made this statement. Almost all our presidents made this statement. Oh, we are never going to go to the IMF. And Uncle see, he made a very interesting point. If you check history, any time the economy is doing very, very well, it is when we are in the IMF program. Check.
No,
I'm talking about from Mills's time, when Mills took over, we're coming out of the HIPIC program. Then that was when Dufour was doing single digits.
For 11 months.
Yes, for 11 months. Then we left, and then His Excellency came in, and then we went back, spillover. Then they went back to an IMF program. Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo comes in to take from 2017, and I'm going to check the record. The economic record from 2017 to 2019. In fact, 2018 to 2018, 2019, we had 2 years running single digits inflation.
Massa,
I
beg you. There are some things which are so clear we don't have to argue about
yes.
it. Even if you accept what you're saying.
Yes.
2017 to 2026 is not all the time.
No, I'm saying that now we are seeing some significant improvements in the economy. We are under a program. Now you can't do certain things. So I always tell people that you will really see my brother Dr. Atoforsen's prowess when the IMF leave the scene.
Post.
When
IMF,
now, as Ankwesi talked about, when election is getting closer, when the pressure starts coming, when the president goes to a town and the chief tells him that, oh, you're going then spot on at that same area, without even knowing what has gone to the body, the president will say, oh, I'm not going away. Then the finance minister must look for some money to come and do it. It happens. So for me, I'll be very excited if this becomes our last. So I will be extremely excited.
Suggesting that our true test, the fidelity for managing the resources of this country in a more prudent way, would happen two ways. After the IMF program, and then also when the elections.
And then when you see after the IMF, when the discipline that Ankwesi is talking about still continues, when you are firm on that, I'll be very excited.
Okay.
But for now, you can't. You have to commend them. I've said it, Ankwesi. I mean, if inflation is 5.something%,
5.4,
you don't have to argue about it. Yeah. Especially when all the institutions predicted that we are going to get to a single digit, but by the end of the year. So if he achieves it before the end of the year, that's significant. That's okay.
Okay.
But I'm saying
what
that
I cannot accept from the Honourable Member of Parliament is the glorification of the neoliberal path into which we've been pushed by the IMF and the World Bank. We cannot glorify that. This country has suffered severe consequences as a result of the pursuit of the neoliberal path to development. And I go back to 1983, during the Rawlings tenure, the PNDC era. Look, in 1983, 300,000 workers lost their jobs as a result of implementing the same IMF World Bank program. 300,000 workers lost their jobs. Between 1983 and now, the national currency, the cedi, has cumulatively been devalued by something like 26,000%. Can you wrap your head around it? We have destroyed 400 state enterprises. Access to social services have been significantly limited as a result of the implementation of this IMF World Bank program. So on the basis of the facts, on the basis of the statistics, you cannot hold the position that the only time we do well is when we sign an IMF agreement. It hasn't been good for us. The record is there, it's clear. You understand? And I cannot accept that position.
Okay, I guess we should.
I was even talking about, I get the point, Uncle Simi, but especially with the macroeconomic indicators, you realize that anytime a new government takes over, and there's a previous IMF program that they follow, you see the exchange rates, inflation.
No, your trend analysis.
You see it. You see that.
Saying that
it's not spot on.
No, because like you said,
I'm telling you,
brother, it is not spot on.
No, check 2009, 2010, 2011. We're doing very well.
My brother,
the figures.
Listen to me. President Mill won elections, I think
2008.
2008.
Yes.
December.
Yeah, December.
By the end of January 2009, the resident representative of the World Bank sent a letter to President Mills. What did that letter say?
Right.
I don't recall.
You don't recall. But he did send a letter to President Mills describing the horrible state of the economy just when we were exiting an IMF World Bank program.
Oh, okay.
So check the record. And if you check the record, you cannot come to the positions that you are pushing.
That any time a government inherits from another government and an IMF program, that's guaranteed.
I think the point we are all making is that what we are seeing in terms of the economic indicators, they look good, and it's our hope that it continues, the discipline continues
even after the IMF program.
That's the point.
That hope is shared.
Yes, that's our hope. Yeah. It's our hope that discipline. Okay. Because I'm sure you know some of even Ato's colleagues. Some of them are not too excited, especially with the way he's been, do this. You hear this. I mean, we are in Parliament. People complain.
I'm not in Parliament.
You mean things are tight?
Things are tight. Things are tight. So
it's called fiscalism.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying, that, bro, these things do happen. Okay. We are praying that he remains resolute.
But you see, the thing about it is that what appears to be different this time around, I think there's a dogged determination to be fiscally disciplined.
Look,
check the number of ministers that have been appointed.
And so
there's a lot of.
But just a point about the 24-hour economy.
Yes.
Okay. I have a fundamental problem. Okay.
Oh.
Yes. Because during the electioneering period, what Ghanaians understood to be 24-hour economy was simply that we'll be working around the clock.
Yes.
Nothing more.
Yes.
After the election, the perspective appears to be changing to something else. Yeah. And that's problematic.
That's true.
So we need to know really what the 24-hour economy should mean. We knew what it meant. What it meant was that people would work.
Yes.
There'll be
that was the narrative.
Yes.
Okay. Shift system.
Now it doesn't appear to be that. And there's a need for some interrogation. Okay. So I agree with that. Right. But it's also important to recognize that the program is being implemented in some areas.
In fact,
if you take Ghana Publishing,
yes,
Ghana Publishing is running 24 hours.
Yeah, Port and Harbours as well.
And as a result, its revenue has improved significantly as a result.
But they just banned 15 million cedis.
Exactly.
So
it's
I get you, but I'm going to say the Ghana Publishing, the history of Ghana Publishing, if you look at what the previous managing director did, in fact, this current managing director had cause to acknowledge.
He's the former boss.
Acknowledge the effort.
That's not what I'm talking about. I'm not sharing praise.
Okay, all right.
You understand? I'm not sharing praise. Right. What I'm saying is that Ghana Publishing today is implementing the 24-hour economy as was understood before the election victory. You understand? And the other sectors. Ghana Ports.
But just this morning, Akando is asking managers of teaching hospitals to operate 24-hour OPD and labs.
So something is happening. The scale may not be what was expected.
Our hospitals not operating 24 hours.
No, now it's a directive. there's nothing like discretion. Now
what are you talking about? Our hospitals not operating 24 hours all the time.
Maybe so the teaching hospitals.
Which teaching hospital?
Maybe they don't do lab.
Which teaching hospital is not working 24 hours?
No, if you read the story, what the minister is saying is that all services must run on a 24-hour basis.
Right.
Honorable is right. Our hospitals were running on a 24-hour basis, but it's not all the services which were running on a 24-hour basis.
Right. Right.
Now the minister is directing that all the services should run on a 24-hour basis, which is different from what existed before.
Yeah. So like maybe the scan, those scan. Okay, all right.
Yes. That's what it means by OPD and lab service. Anyway, so obviously he talked about corruption and he talked about oral, and suggesting that perhaps oral is becoming a case of flatter to deceive kind of thing. Now, speaking about oral and the fight against corruption, getting public office holders to be accountable when they leave office, not even when they leave office, when he was in office. I don't know if you've been following the Ken Ofori-Atta matter, because he's one gentleman who we are asking to come and account for his stewardship as finance minister. I'm not saying he's a criminal or anything, far from that, but there are some questions he needs to come and answer. All this while, we're made to believe that he was recuperating. The situation was so bad that he can't fly to Ghana, sit on a flight and come to Ghana. You have always questioned the basis for that medical situation, because you said, look, people go to hospital, they do prostrate, whatever, and the next day they are walking. It turns out from what we're hearing that the man has been fit. He's been walking on the streets of America, he's traveled to England, he's back to America. And then just recently we're told that, he's been arrested by the Immigration and Customs people in America. And why he's been arrested, we're not too sure. But now we're told by some sources that apparently his visa had expired. He was trying to renew his visa so that he can stay, so extend his stay in America. And whilst he was doing that, ICE arrested him. Now we've also had a different version by our Minister of Justice and Attorney General, who says, no, it wasn't a case of his visa being expired, or in fact his visa was going to expire, in February next month. But then proactively, he's applied for an extension, and based on which the authorities have arrested him, because even though his visa was going to expire in February, his stay in America, had already truncated. He should have stayed in America for 6 months or so. Then we've heard Attorney General says, no, this is not account of what actually is happening. What is happening is that in July 2025, his visa was revoked. Now, he doesn't tell us directly that he may have been involved in the revocation of his visa, but he sort of insinuates and suggested that he may have, been behind it. Now we're told that the man, in fact, today is about the 9th day he's sleeping at that detention center in Virginia. And apparently he was arrested in just close to the White House. There's actually a building there which formerly was being used by the former vice president and became president, Kamala Harris. And it cost about $1.8 million or so. Of course, nobody doubts his capacity and ability to buy it, because he's been in the private sector for a long time. But the fact of the matter is that he's now in a detention center. His lawyers are fighting the American authorities over his arrest. And then secondly, we're being told that he himself is also applying to become a U.S. citizen through his son, who was born and bred in America. That's according to Martin Kpebu and his source. In fact, he said it some time back and he's repeating it. Now, we're told that the Daily Post is telling us that ICE cleared Ken Ofori-Atta as medically fit before detention. And that's Victor Smith, our envoy in the United States of America. We'll look at all of this as part of the general broader issues about fight against corruption, whether the government has lived up to expectations. Please stay with us. This is Good Morning Ghana on Metro TV.
Chia winning nara, me ding edge baby dapa, me dia sonko cran ebremo. Now the 20 animal with piano ed Japan me de bremo. And no any Samu spices. Samu spices in here. And we wow no bebreo. Various flavors. Ubenya a yakko. Ubenya nemchi. Ye do good jollof muma emu yede. Ubenya ye do good kwam. Ye do good for yemu. Ho nako pebito. Na ema we piano. Enye de. Unyiminia. Yon kochi nyanko for eka.
Download your communication to we all enjoy Uduba, that Samu spices. What in the essence don't fight. I think it is Samu spices in a Samu daddy so say. Samu spices. Mun Samu.
Samu spices. Nyama chicken.
Samu spices. Nsaka in Ketwa, measure 10 grams. Yawa chicken, spaghetti, garlic and ginger, stew, and jollof, and the flavors Alpha Bebre.
Samu spices. Yes, Saka.
FDIJ Jadien Kratwe Yatum. The festive season is here again, and your most preferred estate partner is giving you 25% discount on land sale. Yes, for our Bronya Asase promo, Estate Masters is offering this massive discount for outright purchases. This includes free indenture, free site plan, and a free site visit. So what are you waiting for? Rush now and secure a plot of land while it is still hot. Reach out to us using the numbers below or visit our website at www.estatemastersgh.com. Estate Masters, your most preferred estate partner.
In my line of work, a confident smile is everything. Kel Charcoal Toothpaste keeps me on top of my game and ensures my smile is always radiant and bright.
With the tiring nature of my job, we spend several hours under the scorching sun. To keep our teeth white and our breath fresh all the time, we use none other than Kel Charcoal Toothpaste. Kel Charcoal Toothpaste. You're on a kessie and in a kit one.
Samayo kendini, who be here, Semetra Sapapadia to Amame Manfo, Kel Charcoal's natural ingredients, and a bomb is seho by, a maniswing, Nesansu Mama Hotoso, a bedroom.
Kel Charcoal Toothpaste. Choose Kel Charcoal Toothpaste for anti-cavity, whiter teeth, and fresher breath all day. Available in 80 gram and 150 gram. Grab yours today.
Kel, happy smile. This advert is FDA approved.
Healthy soil is where every great harvest begins. At ACAP, we turn waste into wealth, producing rich organic compost made right here in Ghana for our farmers and our future. Whether you are planting small or big, ACAP compost improves your soil, boosts your yields, and saves you money. Even in your own home garden, give your soil life naturally. ACAP compost, from waste to wealth.
You're watching Good Morning Ghana on Metro Television. I'm here, Mr. Kwesi Pratt Jr., former managing editor of the Inside newspaper, a seasoned journalist, and also an elderly statesman. Let me also say that I have the Honourable Member of Parliament for the Efija Kwabre North constituency, Collins Haduma Mensah, who's also former Deputy Minister of Energy. He's also here with us. Yes. How is he? And matters arising.
You see, Moro.
Yes, sir.
I hope you guys remember that I delivered the Atamils Memorial Lecture 2024.
Yeah.
And in that lecture, I pointed out that the National Democratic Congress was not managing expectations well with regards to the fight against corruption.
I recall.
And I pointed to the difficulties in prosecuting under this dispensation.
You said it yourself again.
Yes. And I told them that it was possible that by the end of their tenure, they may not have achieved any significant prosecutions, even as they put in their best and so on. So I told them to manage expectations. I recall that after that lecture, many people in the NDC thought and argued that I was speaking for these MPP elements whom they claimed had stolen our money and so on. But that's not the point I was making. The practical reality. You cannot come into office and within 1 year throw tens of ministers and former appointees into jail. It's not possible. If you are respecting their rights, if they are allowed to defend themselves using the law and so on, you cannot. There's a process.
Yeah.
And I've always referred to other trials before. And one of the most significant ones was the trial of Dr. Opu.
Yeah.
After 8 years, NPP could not secure conviction. Of course, I also believe that he was an innocent man. Okay. But after 8 years, they couldn't secure a conviction. So it is not that easy. Now, I worry, and I really worry a lot, when I hear people like my brother and friend, Honorable Collins, make the point that, oh, they haven't achieved much in the fight against corruption. Expect them to achieve much? How? If the due process is going to be followed, it will be slow. And people in the NPP should not be accusing the Mahama administration of being slow. Because if it's not going to be slow, what is it going to do? It's going to bend the law. Yeah. It's going to violate people's rights and so on in order to achieve a certain level of speed. So the last people to complain that the Mahama administration has been weak or slow in achieving the objectives that oral sets should be the NPP elements. You understand? Because otherwise, speed will be applied. And when speed is applied, what it means is that some of the processes may have to be truncated and so on. So it is not in their best interest to be accusing the Mahama administration of being slow or not realizing the promise it made with oral and so on. It is not in the best interest of the NPP and its leaders to be making those claims. The full soldiers in the NDC and neutrals and so on can be making those claims, not people from the NPP. Don't, because it will spell hell for you. Okay. Now, to narrow it to the Ken Ofori-Atta case specifically, I recall a time when Mr. Ken Ofori-Atta appeared visibly to be sick. Physically, he had bloated, he had become particularly slow, and there was a lot of concern about his health.
Yeah.
And I recall people suggesting that he remove himself from the Ministry of Finance because it was stressful. And I hope all of you recall his response.
Yep.
His response was that Ghana's interest was too dear to him that he was even willing to risk his health in order to serve the country. Why has the story changed now? Now he's not willing to risk his health in order to serve the interests of Ghana that he loves so much. What has changed? What is it that has significantly changed? Okay. Besides, from all that we know, unless there's something else that the public has not been told, what he has is prostrate. I don't know the stage at which his prostrate is. But Massa, everywhere you go in the world, not just in Ghana, many people have this prostrate problems. And they work, they stand trial, they live in prison, they live outside prison, and so on. Prostrate is no longer sufficient grounds for refusing to be accountable. Why? I'm quite sure that some of the judges have prostrate. You understand? I mean, some of the judges you'll be facing, they have prostrate. They have prostrate problems. But they are sitting there in court and judging. Okay. The science is that men, after 40 years, are most likely
predisposed
to have prostate cancer or issues related to prostate cancer. It's a normal thing. Just like fibroid is so normal to women and so on. So that is not sufficient excuse for what he appears to be doing. You understand? Now, for all practical purposes, I think that he has worsened his case. You see, today, there are so many leaders of the last government who have been accused of wrongdoing, who have been granted bail, they sleep in their houses and they go about their normal duties pending further investigations and prosecution. He may not have that privilege if he comes back. And you know why? Because now it's clearly established that it's a flight risk. And judges will find it very difficult, judges and investigators will find it very difficult to grant him bail, as other colleagues of his have been granted bail. So he has worsened his case, and I feel sorry for him, that it has gotten to this level. I really feel sorry for him. Why can't he come and defend himself against the allegations which are being made against him? I don't think that he today can say that the courts in Ghana are kangaroo courts. If he were to make that claim, what would they say? What would that say about the administration to which he was finance minister? How much has changed in the judiciary since John Mahama took over? How much has changed? Majority of high court judges, majority of appeal court judges and so on were appointed by his own administration as we speak now. The judicial system has not changed. So what claims can he make? So I think that it's in his best interest to come, face the charges, and deal with them. I would not for one moment suggest that he's guilty as charged or he's guilty as alleged. It may well be possible that he's an innocent man. And indeed, for all those who are appearing before investigative bodies, including Iroko and so on, the presumption should be their innocence. They are innocent until convicted by a competent court. And that is how all of us should treat them. That is how we should treat all citizens of Ghana, not MPP members, not members of the Akufo-Addo administration. The NDC is not going to be in power forever. At some point, maybe 15 years' time, maybe 40 years' time, maybe 10 years' time, maybe 12 years' time, the NDC would not be in power. We expect the same standard to be applied to NDC leaders as is applied to MPP leaders, as it applies to CPP leaders. We should be principled in these matters. You understand? And if we are principled in these matters, we will not be counting how much has been recovered from prosecution of those accused of corruption. We'll be counting how much justice has been done to citizens and to the country.
True.
It's not money. Question of justice cannot be counted in monetary terms. And I want to believe, I firmly believe in being fair and just to every citizen of our country. That should be our pursuit.
I see.
We should not be counting money. Yeah, so you catch somebody, put them before kangaroo courts, as happened some time ago, and extract monies for them. Is that an achievement?
No.
It's certainly not an achievement, So I insist on the true application of all the principles of the rule of law.
Okay.
I insist on justice for every citizen. I insist on fair treatment for every citizen, whether they are MPP, NDC, or CPP.
Okay.
That's what I insist on.
All right. Collins, if you listen to the Dominic Ayine interview, he mentions that he's been engaging the lawyers of Ken Ofori-Atta in America, for some of whom are former attorney generals of America. The first is a very popular name that has escaped me. I mean, these are top American lawyers. And in his engagement with them, they were requiring of him to assure them that if Ken comes to Ghana, he'll be given a fair trial and that he won't be molested and harassed and manhandled and so on. I mean, I don't know what kind of image that creates about Ghana. I mean, when you hear stuff like that.
Well, first of all, I'll come back to that.
Okay.
I recall the lecture that Ankwesi talked about.
Okay.
Now, Ankwesi, the NDC did not listen to your lecture. They didn't. They continued on the image destruction of some innocent Ghanaians. We had members who are now cabinet members moving into houses with cameras and accusing some people as thieves. In fact, there was a whole program at the Jubilee House where Oral presented a whole gamut of documents, and they told us that the members of the Nana Addo Akufo-Addo government have stolen money to the tune of $21 billion. That's what we were told. So if today, the same members of that group come back on television and tell us that apparently the 21 billion that we talked about, that helped us to win election, we cannot retrieve all. We have every right to call them out.
But when you say members of that group, no, hold on. When you say members of that group, you may not be factually accurate.
I'm coming.
Do you know why?
I'm coming.
Because the Oral was not a party group.
Take your time.
Yes.
Look at the members over there. Look at them.
Look
at the members. Please look at the members.
Yes, I've seen them.
Apart from look at them.
Domelevo.
Apart from them, yes. Which of them don't have a position in this government? What are you talking about?
The foreign minister is not involved in prosecutions.
Thank you.
He's not involved.
But the foreign minister knew that he was not involved in prosecution. But he was telling the president that 21 billion has been stolen and called people looters and thieves.
Not in his capacity as a prosecutor or investigator.
But he knows very well.
In his capacity as an ordinary citizen.
But he knows.
Was compiling allegations.
Allegations. So when he met the president, he should have told the president that these are allegations. He told the president, and it was live on the papers, that these are looters. They call them thieves. The foreign minister, my very good friend Okujeto, he knows that he's not a prosecutor. But he was accusing people and moving to people's properties with video cameras and calling them thieves. So if today, the same group of people, the Attorney General comes back to tell us, if one of the Oral members, the Attorney General was on Newsfile yesterday.
But he's not a member of Oral.
Take your time.
Yes.
The document has been handed over to him.
Prosecutor.
No, but Okujeto is not a prosecutor. But the same Okujeto.
He is not the Attorney General.
But Okujeto, he knew that he was not a prosecutor.
So it's not the same people.
No, it's the same people. I'm coming, Ankwesi.
Okujeto, Ambakwa, and Dominica are different people.
Please. Let me make my point. Okujeto, knowing very well that he's not a prosecutor.
Okay.
But he was categorical in his statement. And called people looters, called people thieves. And told the president that he's been able to receive documents that to the tune of $21 billion. So now, if the one who's prosecuting now tells us that those documents cannot pass, some of them cannot pass for prosecution, I have every right to call them out.
Right.
And when I do so, I'm not telling His Excellency to manipulate the law. In fact, His Excellency has no option. He has no option but to follow due process. He has no option. He's the first gentleman of the land. He has absolutely no option to either slow the process or quicken the process to favor somebody else. No, he has no option. He has only one option: to ensure that the dignity of those people accused are maintained. That is the only option he has. So I'm well within my space to call them out. In fact, on this same table, I was with you, Ankwesi. You even advised. You advised when the papers were calling them looters. And it was so unfair. Now, documents have come. Domelevo himself is telling us that most of the things were not audited. These were just things they received. How do you just receive documents you've not audited and have not gone through and call those people thieves and looters? Is this fair? Then you use that to win election. After you've won election, you come back to the same people and tell us that, oh, on the basis of how we scrutinize the document, some of them cannot go for prosecution. You have tarnished their image. You have already killed them. That is the point I'm making. And you talk about fairness. That is why I made that point. My point is that this was a promise. 21 billion all over the place. These guys are thieves. They are bullies. And I remember that day when we were having this argument. All the complaints they received were complaints that were received from 2016 to 2024.
What do you have against that?
I was very clear that day that this is a clear political agenda. The idea is not to fight corruption as it's supposed to be, but to paint a certain group of people black.
No, but 2016 is part of another administration.
No, I'm talking about but I'm talking about Nana Akufo-Addo's government. When Akufo-Addo took over, 2017, all the reports, all the report they received.
Yes.
We were here. They received. Yes. Nobody came to give them any report from His Excellency. Yes. Everything was from 2017. So it was a calculated attempt. And the wording, and you can go back and play when they were presenting these documents, the wording, the diction,
but the words they used. But they also said, and I heard about Blackwell Clare, but Blackwell also said that if there's anybody who knows or is aware of any wrongdoing, even in the past administrations, preceding 2017, the person is free to bring those documents. Please say it again.
Bro, we all saw what happened when they presented these documents. Yes. The narrative that was.
It means nobody's brought anything.
No. The narrative, the narrative that was sent around, and the fact that they failed to listen to Uncle Kwesi's advice.
Oh, my brother.
They failed. They failed to listen to his advice when Uncle Kwesi was warning them that what you are doing, be careful, because everybody, as he puts it, has the right to be heard.
Okay.
But you cannot take one side, kill the person, turn back now to tell us that, after you've killed the person and use it for your political gains, document I will not prosecute you, and that the 21 billion, all of it cannot be retrieved. Hey, now you're telling me you cannot retrieve 21 billion.
No, but realistically.
I think we have to be
fantastic. So you see, you are talking about realistic.
Realistically.
I'm going to talk about realistic.
Yes.
These people that led ORA, these are distinguished individuals. They know about reality.
Yeah, but
they are aware of the reality.
Let's be fair.
But the eyes.
Let's be fair. The people who led ORA made it plain that they were collecting complaints.
Yes. And allegations.
Which needed to be verified through proper investigation.
Yes.
The president made it clear that he was not acting as president at the time. You understand? He made it clear that all that he was doing was asking people who have some suspicion and so on to bring them forward so that when he assumed office, those may be investigated. So that was clear, and I think we have to be fair.
But the point he then makes is that if you are just collecting allegations and suspicions, how then do you go to a conclusion? How do you then describe
that group of people as thieves?
That's where it's coming from.
How do you then conclude that
somebody has looted, somebody has stolen,
they are looters? When all you are doing is just receiving complaints.
You see, my friends. Collins knows.
Right.
He may not admit on camera, but he knows that in the past administration, some shenanigans took place.
Fact.
He knows that as a fact.
Fact.
Okay? But I'm saying that all of us must uphold the principles of
fairness and rule of law.
So we must uphold that. And if we're going to uphold that, we cannot be convicting people on platforms such as this.
Fantastic.
But all of us know.
Fantastic.
That some things went very, very, very wrong.
You
know that. You know that
you've made my day.
I do.
You've made my day.
But you know that better than I do.
You've made my day.
Yeah.
By saying that because there's a process that will lead to somebody being called a thief or a looter. When you start the process, you have to be careful with your diction and give those people a fair hearing. That's the point.
That's fine.
Now,
but we cannot be arguing as if nothing went wrong. Everything was okay.
No.
Because
now to get over
we know that some things went very, very wrong.
To get over that, obviously, the last time I pleaded a fifth.
Okay, not to comment on it. That's fine.
I'll continue to plead.
I hear you. In fact, it's well within your rights.
But that itself is very significant.
It was the same thing who said the last time. It says it's profound. It's called a definite silence.
I'm saying that I plead the fifth.
No problem. So Kofi Addo.
And I'll continue to plead.
Very loud silence.
Very loud silence. Okay. So Kofi Addo, and he says, "Good morning, gentlemen. In the light of the excellent economic environment Ghana enjoys, I'm curious to know Honorable Collins Adomako's opinion on Godfrey Dami's concerted failed attempt to destroy Dr. Ato Forson through a weaponized AG's office. Collins is an honest man, and I know he secretly knows Professor Frimpong Boateng's admonitions for candor in politics, or that's coming from Kofi Adoli. Now, Carlos from Ododio says that, yes, Moro agree that some of them are thieves. Just because they have not been prosecuted does not mean they are not thieves. The person speaking is part of the investigation. He will soon be dealt with. Oh, I see. Now, he continues to say that with due respect to MPP representatives seated in your studio, I want to say that MPP has shown itself to be a very consistent and an unserious political party. The same people who left the economy in shambles are now witnessing it being revived and managed in an extraordinary manner. At first, they claimed the economy was not being managed prudently and told Ghanaians to wait until Christmas. They said when importers begin to bring their goods, the city would depreciate and the dollar would rise. Today, their representative has shifted the goalpost again, now saying we should wait till the elections. This clearly shows they have no understanding or credible ideas about how the economy is being managed. That's Carlos from Ododio. Samuel Brian Boabing says that Ken will come when he's fit, or when he believes he can get the best healthcare in Ghana. People should not impose their personal health decisions on others. The Attorney General on the OSP can proceed with their prosecutions without him being physically present in Ghana. The fight against corruption will fail under this government because we have an Attorney General who whitewashes his party members who have caused huge financial loss to the states and then cast dubious deals, yet prosecute his opponents for lesser offences. What happened to the maxim, he who seeks equity must come with clean hands? Oral is a sham. Just as when members of the CJ lied about President Kufuor selling all the gold bars at the BOG and having twins with Giselle Yadzi, Samuel Brand Boabing sent that message. And Robert Koeman says he's thanking us a lot for the compliments and that he's grateful. Charlie, Robert, this 20 years matter, you'd have to come clean with us. So let us know what exactly is the issue. And then Tafa in Amraha says, good morning, Audu, and good morning to your guests. Tell Honorable Adumako that if there are witches out there, then someone must hunt them. Honorable Adumako, you are in this country and nobody has ever gone to your house or stopped you from asking the questions, and not even you alone. There are many of your party members who are moving around freely without being harassed or questioned by anybody. So please don't talk as if every member of your party is being questioned by the authorities. Be fair, you're one gentleman I respect a lot. That's coming from Tafa Amrahia. Now, Austin Game, who is a labor expert, says, good morning to you and two brothers with you. My view is that the first year in many ways has been reasonably phenomenal, but a lot more remains to be done, especially in the area of conflict resolution. I'm not surprised. He's very, how do you call it? He's very, very passionate about conflict resolution. So he says, regarding the 24-hour economy, the understanding and interpretation of the meaning has been problematic, but with the submission of the 24-hour economy, the bill to Parliament should be enough. If a government dropped inflation from 23% to 5.4%, Forex remains stable, lending rate dropping are encouraging. I strongly believe that if all traders demonstrate reasonability and the government continues with prudence and corruption, and all of us play our part well by being honest in managing the various institutions, then we shall all be happy. Papa Bisu says that all praise to His Excellency John Dramani Mahama and his team for the good governance we're enjoying, and all thanks to Almighty God for touching the hearts of Ghanaians to vote against the past NPP government. Elsewhere in Iran, citizens are fighting against their leaders for the poor performance of their country against the dollar, leading to the death of over 2,000 citizens. But the opposite is happening here in Ghana, where a majority of Ghanaians are happy due to the hard work of the likes of Dr. John Siama, the governor of the Bank of Ghana, Ato Forson, and others like Courage Makafui, the TDC boss. Papa Bisu from Spintex sends that message. Hassan from Accra says that, please tell MP Adumako Mensah, I say, he's a gentleman. He should not say things when he's invited for debate. He will behave like Opon Nkrumah. How can Anado, who ordered chiefs to get out from their royal seats, go down to shake hands with the security guard? I cleared a car at 3 a.m. last Thursday. Hassan, which car is that? How much did you pay? Don't mind me.
I don't understand. It's messy.
No, I think he's just. I think.
No,
it's not.
Hassan's message is about what he thinks of Nanado as being an arrogant person because of how he's dealt with some chiefs.
But I said there's no video, so I can't tell
yes.
that. Yeah.
And then Alhaji Hamza says that from Pig Farm says, good morning, my brother. I think Mr. Kedoforiata should blame himself for whatever is happening to him today. We are being told the FBI has got themselves involved in this matter, and if that is true, then the issue of Kedoforiata has more to do than the immigration issues that we were told about. Members of the MPP should advise him to come back home and face justice because his continued stay in America is giving the MPP a bad name, and for that matter, Ghana as a whole, in all of this National Cathedral in mind. Prince Henry from Kufuridia says, I haven't seen any party that was arrogant in power and still arrogant in opposition. It is finished for the MPP, 32 years in opposition. The future is pregnant. And Dennis Glan says that Collins wants to remain silent on Ken, but ask him if he still wants to remain silent on the Rambo-style arrest of Ken by ICE. Dennis Glan, General Manager, MediaTek Africa. Okay, so, all right. What's the issue? Professor Mimobati, I'm told you are tired of him. You want him out. He's talking too much. In fact, the Daily Post, is it the Daily Post or one of the, sorry?
Tired of him.
Professor Mimobati.
But he hasn't said.
No, I'm talking about some colleagues of his. And we're told the MPP to sack traitors. And it starts from Frimpong Boateng. That story is here. We're told that Paul Awuni said the New Patriotic Party has resolved to get rid of individuals who have been contrived traitors and hired backstabbers working in the interest of the parties being the political opponents. One of their considered betrayers who will soon be shown the exit to serve as a deterrent, according to an information gathered, is former Minister of State Professor Kwabena Frimpong Boateng. Accordingly, the party has begun formal processes to expel the ex-Minister of Environment, Science and Technology and Innovation following his unsavory and anti-party comments during an interview on Channel 1 TV on January 12, 2026. Collins, what's happening? Your elections is just around the corner, I think in 2 weeks.
You know something?
And
the party,
all these comments, right?
The party is in a very...
Custodian, you want it? Inside, so please go ahead.
The party is in a very slippery area.
Okay. Okay.
And my only admonition is that people like Frimpong Boateng and co great level of respect that we have for them. I just plead with them that it is not cool when a party you belong to, benefited from, is going through some hardship or some problem, and there's a time you are stepping on the party. I think with his experience and knowledge, I don't know if I can advise him, because I'm not too sure I am at the level of advising Professor Frimpong Boateng, but I can only admonish him that I want him to be part of the rebuilding process, and not to stay on the fence and, as it were, be throwing stones into an already weakened party that is trying very hard to reshape its future. And I'm sure he's part of that. He should tone down on some of the rhetoric, and rather come in. Join hands to ensure that things are managed to an appreciable level where the party now becomes more attractive to the Ghanaian people. I mean, I listened to his interview. Tomorrow, things like the party is fake. Oh, really? The party is fake. I'm not a member.
He says the party has changed. This is not the party he joined many decades ago.
I don't understand. When he became a minister, what party was it?
Okay.
Was it the old party or that was Nanado's party?
That's a valid question.
I'm trying to understand.
Yeah.
When he accepted to be a minister, cabinet minister, under Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo, was the party the old one or the new party? I just want to understand. Because nothing really, the leadership has not changed really when he was a minister. So I'm pleading with him. His expertise is needed. Himself and others, they should come in and let's try and judge and see the way forward. But I'm no longer a member of that fake party. If the current party is faking and you're no more a member, what are you trying to say?
Right.
You get the point I'm making. But I'm sure that with his experience and his knowledge, call one or two people behind the scenes. Let's see how best we can resolve this issue. Okay. And interesting enough, I see a lot of old folks always come up to speak when they're getting close to an election. They suddenly resurface when there's an election, and they, I don't know whether he has a particular candidate, because he was very clear that Bawumia is a no-no, is a I mean, he's
he doesn't support Bawumia.
And that any other candidate, he never mentions anybody. Apart from Bawumia, any other candidate who comes is fine for him. You know, so he's very clear about his dislike for Bawumia. This was the man you were in cabinet with.
Yeah.
You were sitting in cabinet with. You know, and it's sometimes, I don't know. But for me, my appeal is that I'm begging him, himself and very knowledgeable, strong old folks within the party. I think they should come in and help revamp the party rather than being outside and be throwing things into an already weakened party after this election, which is trying its best. And this is not the first time a political party is going through this. I mean, people think the NDC just became the NDC we see now. It was tough when they lost 2016. Whoever thought His Excellency would come back? Whoever thought? This was a party where even founders' wife, were at a party, but they've managed to come together. Why? Because they had their old folks, no matter how disgruntled they were, stay in and help rebuild the party. But to continuously, always throwing mud into an already difficult, muddy area, it becomes a challenge. I don't know, as I said, I can't advise him. He's way above my pedigree. But my only caution is that he should come and let's solve the problem. No matter what is happening within the party. As the council says, no matter what is happening, he should come, let's sit down, let's resolve the party. Freeport Party only started talking ill when he was changed as a minister.
Yeah.
Suddenly, everything has changed.
Okay.
Why? So I'm begging him. He should come. Let's do the party.
Okay, see, I don't know how difficult it's going to be for the party, because we've heard Dr. Nyaho Tamaklo, who has also suggested that if you sack Frimpong Boateng, then you must prepare to sack all of us from the party. That's serious.
I think my brother and friend Collins has skirted over the issue. The real problem is this. In this contest, you can insult Kennedy Agyapong, you can tear him to pieces, the party would not take any action. You can call Kennedy Agyapong names, abuse him, the party will take no action. The only person on whose behalf the party takes action when he's attacked is Dr. Bawumia. That's a problem. That's a big problem. That's a big problem. That's the problem the party must be addressing, not sacking Frimpong Boateng. You understand? All the things that Professor Frimpong Boateng said about Dr. Bawumia, worse things have been said about Kennedy Agyapong. Nobody took any action. I lie? If I lie, tell me.
Yeah, but Uncle, the action being taken against him is not about what he said about Bawumia. It is his description of the political party.
And also
Fake.
Collins. That's true. But also the processes in the lead up to the election of Dr. Bawumia. You know, remember he said.
I get you, but he was not attacking Bawumia. I mean, the disciplinary action being initiated is not because he attacked Bawumia.
Yes,
but it was
because he said it was rigged in his favor.
But that is a different process.
Call it whatever you will. Call it whatever you will. Describe it however you will. Bottom line is that if you go after Bawumia, the party will come after you. But you can say anything and everything about the other contestants, the party doesn't move. That's the situation. And in fact, this is the very problem that Professor Frimpong Boateng was addressing when he spoke about how people were railroaded into choosing Bawumia as the flag bearer. This is the very problem he was addressing. And this is why, in his view, he thought that the party has departed from its ethos, that the party is no longer democratic. This is the basis. Whatever you say, this is the basis of the complaint he's making.
That's where I disagree with him.
All right. Okay. All right. We'll end it here.
See, I find it very offensive. I get you. But if Mr. Prof says that we were all pushed to support Bawumia. I mean, how can you say that to me?
Okay.
That I don't have a mind of my own.
The evidence is that you can insult Kennedy, the point nothing will happen.
That I agree with one person.
If you insult Bawumia,
I am in complete agreement with you. No, but you see, but for him to say that the last election we were all coerced, we were pushed to support one candidate. That is unfair.
The practice of the party.
Because I was not pushed.
The practice of the party machine.
What is this obsession with Ken Ofori-Atta? Does this government need his fiscal presence to have him prosecuted? Paradoxically, Sir Dinam Tamakulatienu, who was investigated, prosecuted, and convicted, has not been extradited to Ghana. I'm told the process has started. In fact, Larry Dobe reported last week. We pray for long life and good health. Happy New Year to Uncle C and Collins, my brother, Manche Bruce II in Takrady. Anyway, so this is where. Okay, so finally, Loratu sends this message, not the MPP Loratu, it's a different Loratu. Good morning, Moro. The problem with the MPP is that they don't listen to anyone. They are always right in everything they do. Now, the current executives do not respect the party elders, yet when the elders come out to vent, it is a problem. The truth is, if you are genuine in the MPP, they don't like it. Other presidential candidates can be called names, and the executives will praise them for but heaven will break loose when DMV is insulted. If this isn't fake, what else? Thanks for joining us, sir. Thank you very much, Mr. Kwesi Pratt Jr. But Dr. Amoako Siama, the second Deputy Speaker, he says he's enjoying the conversation, and then I should say hello to you, Deputy Speaker of Parliament. Yes, anyway, thanks for watching Good Morning Ghana. My name is Aldo Moro. Assalamu alaikum. Bye-bye.